Yes, give Elon Musk all of your money, drain your retirement accounts, and plummet them into Elon's bank account. No, to be honest, you probably shouldn't. But if any of you are in the market for a Tesla, amid the outbreak and everything, you're still interested because they are offering a contactless delivery, in case some of you didn't know. So even if you want to go pick up a Tesla, they will still do it all, touchless, and you don't really have to interact with a person, which is good given the situation we're in right now, but at the same time, just kind of nice from a social side of things. I'm an antisocial kind of person, so I totally get that. But there are some differences I want to explain to people who may not know the difference between just standard autopilot and full self-driving. I'll repeat them for you today and then give you my personal advice on whether or not when you buy your Tesla, should you get it with full self-driving. So, good news is any Tesla you order off the website today does come with autopilot standard. So, if you're into Tesla because you like the idea of the car driving itself, you're able to pull down on that stalk on the right twice, and the car will do its best to look at the lines on the road and keep the car in between them. Now, it's not stopping for red lights, and it's not stopping for stop signs. It doesn't mean that you can take your hands off the wheel, go to sleep, and say, Elon, take the wheel. That's not what autopilot is. It's merely a convenience feature. It takes care of the speed, and it takes care of the steering. And it's not always great at it, so don't really trust it that closely. Just watch it and monitor it and everything. But yeah, that is an option built in by default to all Teslas now, unless you happen to order the $35,000 Model 3, which is off menu, so you have to really know what you're doing to get a hold of that car. But that car can still do autopilot. You just have to pay $3,000 extra to access it. It still has all the hardware for it. But the benefits you get out of full self-driving are you get things like Smart Summon, which means that while your car is out parked in a parking lot somewhere, as long as you're within viewable distance of it, you can summon the car. It will all on its own pull out of the parking space and come find you and pick you up. Now, there's been a lot of demos of this online, and you'll notice it's not super good at it, but it does get better with time. It already has improved a lot with software updates, and in time, I'm sure it'll get better, but still, it's an option you have with full self-driving that's not included by default. You also get things like Navigate on autopilot, which means that not only will the car steer itself on the freeway, but it will also take exits off of the freeway because it knows where you're headed as long as you plug in the address, and it will switch lanes to keep you on the right path and make sure that you take the right freeways and highways. And yes, that also means it will automatically change lanes to adjust for traffic. If someone in front of you is going too slow, without doing much, it will signal, change lanes, pass people, or get out of the way occasionally. And that, again, is something that default autopilot is not going to do for you. So Autopark is another feature that comes with full self-driving that allows the car to park itself in certain circumstances, both parallel and perpendicular. And in its current form, that's pretty much the only advantages full self-driving has, which in itself, the features I just described to you, for most people, probably not worth the additional $7,000, soon to be $8,000 this July. However, that does not mean I think it's a bad purchase, because I personally, if I was buying a Tesla, I would get full self-driving for it eventually, but personally, I don't see much of a reason for you to get it with the car unless you're just in a financial place that the additional $7,000 is no problem. But keep in mind, you can buy full self-driving after you take delivery of the car. It is something that you can activate via software update. There's no special hardware at this point. If you're buying new from Tesla, you have the hardware equipped. It's just a software code that unlocks the feature once you pay for it. And at this point, buying it after delivery or when you get delivery, it's the same price. It's going to be $7,000 either way. A few years back, that used to not be the case, and they used to encourage everyone to buy it when you got the car. That has since changed, and I will make a video on it if they do change it. But as of today, yeah, same price whether you get it with or without the car, which I would personally recommend getting without, because you may find that autopilot kind of covers most of the, techie futuristic parts of the car you want. Smart Summon, Navigate on autopilot, automatic lane change, and Autopark, those are great features. They're very handy, but you may not realize you want them that much once you get the car and you start using autopilot. You may just feel like you're satisfied with that, and when it comes to lane changes or taking exits, you know what? I'll just handle that part of the car. You just feel it out at first and then decide for yourself if that additional $7,000 ends up being worth it. But personally, the reason I would eventually get full self-driving with my car is because you're buying mostly a promise, and this is where people get so finicky about full self-driving, and a lot of people consider it a scam because you're kind of buying into something that doesn't really give you all of its promised features at first, because once you buy full self-driving for the particular Tesla you're driving, it sticks with that car for life. It cannot be removed as long as you are the owner of that car, which means that all future software updates that will inevitably lead to the point where the car is capable of driving itself with no intervention at all, you're going to get that at no additional cost. At least that's what Tesla is promising us right now, which means that once you get full self-driving, you've paid for it, it's installed on your car, you're enjoying those navigate on autopilot features, you are registered in Tesla's system to make sure that once level 5 autonomy is reached, which means, yeah, take a nap in the car, don't touch the wheel, don't look at the road, the car's going to be doing all the driving and potentially become a robo-taxi and make you money, that should not cost anything extra at this point. The problem, of course, is we don't have a great idea on when full self-driving is going to be coming out. So Elon has said that it's supposed to be feature complete by the end of this year, and when it comes to the legal side of full self-driving, he's not too sure that'll be ready by the end of 2020. But keep in mind, Elon is very, very bad with guesstimating timelines. Sometimes they come out with stuff ahead of schedule, but most of the time it ends up being delayed, particularly when it comes to full self-driving features and stuff like that. So don't get me wrong, it's definitely gonna get better. In fact, we're seeing videos and leaked photos right now of people in the early access program that are already showcasing Autopilot responding to stoplights and stop signs. You know, you just have to confirm when it's ready to go, or if the light is green, you just press down on the stalk. But that's basically training their neural net right now to get better at detecting green lights. They're just being extra cautious about it right now, so it's going to stop at every single stoplight, even if it's green. So in time, probably by the end of this year, Autopilot will be capable of registering not just that there's a stoplight ahead, but also the color of the light and act accordingly. And of course, stop at all stop signs. And then we're just a few updates away from, you know, turning support. And once you get that down and you've trained the neural net on it a bunch, within the next few years, or at least for the life of the car, depending on how long you're keeping it, it means that if you buy full self-driving, you should be capable of experiencing a completely autonomous vehicle at some point in its life. Whether that's a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, that comes down to you. So if you really don't trust Tesla and you feel like they're asking for too much money up front and you don't really have faith that this full self-driving thing is going to be a reality, then I would say probably don't buy it, because a lot of people have different reasons for liking Tesla, and all of them are very much justified, whether it's the safety features, whether it's being electric and letting you charge from home and being better for the environment. But there's also people like me and others, I'm sure, that are really interested in it for the technology. I'm really, really interested in these types of cars because of how good they're getting at driving themselves and how they're learning and improving with software updates with time. So for a person like me, the full self-driving purchase would make a lot of sense, because that's one of the most valued parts of the car. I don't really care that much that it's electric, you know, that's great, but there are other electric cars you can look into, and maybe it's a design preference you like about the Tesla, maybe it's the handling, maybe it's the performance you prefer. All of those things are gonna be there whether you buy full self-driving or not. So the short answer I'm giving you is no. When you're buying your Tesla, if you're getting it on a loan or buying it outright, you can save a lot of money up front by just not getting full self-driving. But I would never say for anyone who's in the market of the Tesla, you have to buy full self-driving at checkout. Make sure you check that, otherwise it's pointless if you don't get it. Tesla would still be an amazing vehicle with incredible safety features and much better for the environment, plus insane performance and a very modern looking, up-to-date design with software updates that you're gonna appreciate even without full self-driving. So don't feel like you have to get it. Maybe if you're not comfortable with it, just wait and see if, you know, full self-driving software improves to the point that you're like, okay, you know what, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you can wait on it, just realize that it's gonna cost more as they get closer to the full self-driving future. So Tesla's basically rewarding people who are willing to buy into it now by giving them a lower price. So people from a couple years back were able to get full self-driving for only $5,000 because they bought into it so early. But people who are going to wait until full self-driving is officially done and ready, you're going to end up paying probably close to $10,000. Could be even more depending on how many features or how good Autopilot and full self-driving software gets. But let me know what you would do personally or what you have done if you have a Tesla down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.